Greetings everyone. So, as you may know or may not know, I am making this show, The Inside Look, in Russian for a couple of years now. I talk about, old technologies, about software and hardware. I mostly speak about old 3D games engines and innards of an old gaming consoles. It all eventually started in 2007 when I, accidentally discovered works of James AVGN Rolfe. Then I started watching Classic Game Room, and my favorite show for now is Lazy Game Reviews by Clint. He's awesome. He speaks about such topics like hardware. I pretty much enjoy watching hardware reviews. Old hardware reviews, and when hardware is old and rare, it's always interesting to listen to someone talking about it, and Clint just knows what he says, what he's talking about, and that is very cool. It's my favorite show for now, and this is why I decided to make another English episode of my show. The first one was like unboxing of a Mario box, and now I am going to make an overview of a hardware. I am going to speak about a computer by Sun Microsystems, rest in peace. This is called Sun Ultra One workstation, powered by an UltraSpark 64 microprocessor, which I think is pretty old, pretty rare, and interesting. It's interesting mostly because I tried to find a review of this device on YouTube and found nothing. I'm not speaking about only Russian reviews, I mean reviews in any language. They just don't exist. Or maybe I am, I don't know how to use YouTube, maybe. Well, as far as I know, there is no review of a Sun Microsystems Ultra One workstation. Actually, there are, next to nothing about Sun Microsystems and their devices, their computers, their servers on YouTube. I don't know why. There are plenty of reviews of, for example, Silicon Graphics old computers and their IRIX operating system, but there are no reviews of Solaris or about UltraSpark powered servers and workstations. So I'm going to do this review about my old Ultra One device. So let's have a look. The whole setup of this machine looks like this. I happen to own all of the needed components. It's a Sun monitor, which is, I think, 256 colors. It's like 15 to 17 inches wide, I'm not sure. This box on the system block is an external SCSI drive. Well, keyboard, mouse, all the standard stuff. All is branded by Sun Microsystems. And now let's look on these components separately. The keyboard was designed specially for Solaris. I just love how the button help is the biggest one. There are also some Solaris specific keys, like this block here. Also there is such buttons as Compose and Alt Graph. I don't know what they're for. And these buttons here, which actually reminds me of Windows keys on the modern PC keyboards. You can't install Windows on this workstation because it's not x86 compatible. So obviously no Windows keys here. Also, this computer is old. It's older than PC keyboards obtained this Windows keys. The interesting thing also is that the caps lock, LED and compose and all the other LEDs are built into the keys themselves. So there are no num lock, scroll lock or caps lock LEDs. Separately, when you press the lock, the light leads just from the key. That's, you know, rare, if I can say so. Also, there are some buttons for controlling your monitor and audio, and the power on button, you press it and, you know, this machine just starts. Simple as that. The mouse is pretty standard for its time. It's a 3-button standard ball-driven mouse, which says Sun Microsystems Model Compact 1. So this is compact model. Well, I'm sure there were some bigger mice in the history of computers. This one really is not that big. It actually may be smaller than some standard PC mice right now, like my Razer 11-button mice. This is a backside view of an external hard drive. Here we see some standard stuff like a cooling fan. This is where you connect your power. It's standard. This is a power switch. This selector selects the number of a device which it represents in a SCSI, you know, it's SCSI related stuff. And of course we have an incoming connection from the main, you know, case, which connects our SCSI bus to the external hard drive, and an outgoing which allows to connect another external hard drive. This is what you find inside. There are some instructions about how to interconnect all the devices together. Everything is pretty simple, very obvious. And this is the container itself. All the electronics goes here, and this actually is a simple SCSI hard drive by Seagate. Nothing special here except for it has a part number of Sun, and this is its firm box. You can you know, install this into some Sun devices which allow inserting hardwares inside the box. Not in this case. In this case, this SCSI hard drive is just you know, screwed inside this box, and this is just a standard feature which, you know, can be unscrewed, but there's no need. It stays here. This is a standard SCSI hard drive by Seagate, which is like 2 GB, I think, of capacity. Yeah, I think it is. And well, that seems to be it. Pretty simple device. Let's look inside the big box. That's where magic happens. So this is the back of the Ultra One workstation. What do we see here? Well, the power supply is pretty standard. The input, the output for the monitor, for example, parallel port, keyboard, some communication port, twisted pair. Well, it is a network adapter which is on the motherboard. And there are some extension cards, like this card. It is an audio, all the standard inputs and outputs, and SCSI. You can connect this external hard drive right into this port. You also have a fast-wide single-ended SCSI, which connects here it has different connector, but it still is a SCSI, and you can connect some SCSI device here. On this extension card there also is an 100 base TX network adapter, so there's two. And video card. This extension slot is for the video card. It has its own connector, which I actually seen only twice, and the second time it was not a connector for the monitor. But this is a connector for the son's monitor. This is how it looks like. You can connect it here, and you know, there you go. So this is how it works. So the insides. This is what's really interesting. You see this? This is LSI logic chip on some extension card. What do you think? Is that a SCSI controller? No, it's not. It actually is a video card. So the video card for the Sun Ultra One is made by LSI, which is weird, but still it is. Here we have some video memory and the main memory of the system. 8 ECC 60 nanoseconds SIMS models. Well, this is more than enough. It gives us 128 megabytes of RAM, and this is in 1995. So when PCs never had more than 16 megabytes for that time, or maybe less, this beast has 128 megabytes, which is, you know, huge amount, just huge. Also, this little cooler stands on an UltraSpark 64 processor, which runs on 143 megahertz. It also is more than enough for 1995. There are two Seagate hard drives. It's an ultra-wide SCSI hard drives. Both are 4 gigabyte of capacity. So I have 8 gigabytes of hard drive memory inside this beast. I can't call it another way. Here we have an also ultra-wide SCSI CD-ROM. Too bad it's not a DVD-ROM, but still it works. This is the main thing. I think it was made by Hitachi, although nothing is written here. As you can see, there also is a slot for a floppy drive, but floppy drive is not now installed. I think it's pretty standard floppy drive. I have it, I can install it, but there's just no need. There's a standard chipset, and this is a BIOS. I have once replaced this microchip because, you know, mine was broken. I'm not sure if it really was though, because, you know, replacement didn't fix the bug which I have found out and blamed BIOS for this. Maybe it wasn't BIOS. Anyway, this doesn't affect overall work of the beast, so it still powers on and runs Solaris. You know, the weird thing is that Wikipedia says that in 1995 these machines were sold for $27,000. Who would buy that, I wonder? But, you know, this sounds like true because it has plenty of megahertz, plenty of megabytes, plenty of gigabytes, and it still works nowadays. It's good hardware. And the quality is, you know, on the first place. It always was for Sun until it died, until it was devoured by, you know, Oracle. Well, what happened happened, and we just should look at the history. So let's power it on. Okay, so as I have already said, the only thing you need to do to power on this machine is just to press this button on the keyboard. And it comes on. Listen to the noise. This is old hardware noise. I enjoy these things. I don't think I would love to have it every time, all the time, near my ears. I wouldn't like it, but you know, you hear it from time to time. It's good. I enjoy it. So the device is warming up. It now takes some time to do it. It used to power on much quicker, but you know, it's getting older and just takes time right now. But don't worry, it will come up. It does it and then it comes on. So here we go. Of course, this is a CRT monitor, so you know, it blinks in the camera and I can't do anything about it. You saw the cable which is needed to plug this monitor into a video card. There is no capture device that is compatible with Sun's video cards, so excuse me, this is what we get for now. Anyway, what it now says is that it has all its memory found, and it tried to boot from network, which was unsuccessful. So this is what we are going to help this computer to do. You know, it should boot from disk. So that's what I say. Boot disk. And now the Solaris is booting from the hard drive. See this error message? It says that the format of the IDE PROM is invalid, and I don't think I can do anything about it. The problem is, I thought it was a BIOS damage, but no, it seems to be not. So now it is trying to find some DHCP IP address, and I think it will do it successfully. Yes, right. Setting the default IPv4 address. My router just gave the address. Everything looks to be normal. And here comes the X server. Welcome to unknown. Sounds nice. So this is the Solaris 9 welcoming screen. When these devices were made in 1995, they were coming to a market with Solaris 2.5. I got this machine with Solaris 7 installed. Now I have installed Solaris 9 on it. Solaris 10 is unfortunately incompatible with old Ultra One, so Solaris 9 is the last operating system that will be standing on it. I also tried NetBSD. It successfully installed and ran on this computer, but there actually was no need in this. Solaris on the Spark is the best. So let's log on to this Solaris, and I'm going to use a root account. My fellow Unixoids, forgive me, I know it's wrong, but it's just for demonstrating purposes. So root and some password, and here we go. Solaris 9 operating environment. This is CDE, common desktop environment, which is commonly used by commercial old Unix systems as a standard desktop environment. So the common desktop environment is used for doing many things. First of all, we can open a terminal, which is a standard application. Here we go. Console. Yes, this is the console, where we can give this machine some standard Unix commands. I think the first interesting command is, of course, uname -a. What do we have here? We have an UltraSpark powered machine, Sun4U model, Ultra One, running SunOS 5.9. The first question is, what can we do with this old Unix machine? And the answer is, many things. The first thing, of course, is a web browser. We should run some Netscape, which is pre-installed on the Solaris 9. It's an old Netscape. It was made by Netscape, of course, which is now known as Mozilla Foundation, derived from it, and this was long before Firefox, of course, but we can install Firefox and have some compatibility with modern web. This is the website which hosts all the modern application. Come on, focus, don't lose your focus here. Okay, Sun Freeware, the freeware for Solaris. We have plenty of software on the site. We can choose our architecture, Spark, and version of Solaris, Solaris 9, and see what packages this site offers us. And there are plenty of them. I happen to be the guy from, the old times. The one who thinks that the grass was greener back then, the sun was brighter, and the games were better. So this is what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to install Quake 2 on this 1995 machine. So I have downloaded this package from sunfreeware.com. It says it Quake 2 release and all the versions, So this is what I do. pkg add -d, and it says that I have a package for Solaris 8, but what's good about Solaris? It's that all the new versions of it are backwards compatible with the previous versions, so I easily can install Solaris 8 package on my Solaris 9. And this is what I'm going to do. So I am accepting the license. It actually doesn't ask me if I do. It just presumes I do. So yes. And installing id Software Quake 2 3.21 for Solaris 8. Installation was successful. This is all the binary packages, and now I need to have my base Q2 subdirectory, which is needed to run Quake 2. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to download it from my personal web server. I'm using standard wget application, wget, which is common for all the Unix systems. Allunix.ru is my website, my web server. And here we go. The download started. We have something about 5 megabytes per second, which is pretty awesome for an old machine. Back then 100 megabits were pretty rare. And now we need to unzip it. I will use just a standard application called Midnight Commander. which is like Narton Commander for MS-DOS. The thing is, it can easily access zip files. Here I have my base Q2 and base Q2 on my Spark machine. It's common to have game x86.dll file, which is used as a dynamic link library for x86 computers, but this is UltraSpark, so I already have game spark.so library, and now I will just copy all the other content of Quake 2, which I will eventually need. So let's unpack. You know, this isn't a very fast process, because well, CPU is not that loaded, so it's not a processing speed that slows the things down. It really is a disk subsystem. Anyways, I think we'll get to the point where everything is unpacked and we are ready to go. I hope so. Almost done. Big PAK files. Almost there, and here we go. So everything is unpacked. Let's exit the Midnight Commander. So yeah, now that we have installed Quake 2, closed our Midnight Commander, we just need to run Quake 2. Let's use standard File Explorer here. We need to go to USR and local and share. Here we should find some games. Here they are. Quake 2 and Quake 2 binary file. And what do we have here? Well, there are actually, of course, some garbage on the screen. This machine is old, it cannot run in full screen mode. But here there even is a sound coming from an internal speaker which is built into the shit. Ain't it awesome? Okay, let's try starting a game. And it comes on. Here we go. So we can. Well, of course there is a little lag. Well, it's now. Oh. Outer base, establish communication. Okay. So here it goes. Point is proved. It works. And it runs with sound. The sound is coming from a mono speaker which is built into this block. It's no problem listening to MP3s on this machine. I even will show you now. I just need to install some XMMS or something. Just wait a second. So, yeah, I've decided not to, make it hard. I decided not to install XMMS. I just installed MPG123, very popular console MP3 player, and I have downloaded an MP3. So, MPG123, 1.mp3, enter. And here we go. The sound is coming from the case. Here, it comes right from here. Stupid wire. Get away. I mean, this is a heavy, mid-range sound. And it actually sounds good. You can listen to heavy metal using an internal speaker. I think it's totally awesome. It's 20 years old almost. And it still doesn't, you know, give any distortion. The sound is clear. The song, you probably don't know it. It's in Russian. Okay, Ctrl C and it stops playing, just as it's meant to be. Now, for those who are curious if CDE is comfortable enough to work, I can say yes, it is, because it's very fast. But if you are, you know, used to something more comfortable like GNOME, you of course can use GNOME. GNOME 2.0 is supported right off the box. Still logging in as root, and here you go. Of course it will take some more time to load, but it's absolutely usable, no problem. Just give it a second. Here we go, Solaris 9 operating environment, window manager, welcome to the GNOME 2.0 desktop is written right there, it was. So here you go, some introductional speech, and here we are. It's a standard GNOME. It of course can be more, you know, the thing that people are used to who use Windows or Macintosh. Of course it is more of an eye candy than a CDE. It includes all the CDE items here, all its menu, and its own programs like media player, standard GNOME video player, and we are running not very fast of course, but we work. Come on, open up. Well, you see, the point is it works, but it works not that fast. Anyway, you can get used to it. I am now running a media player which is based on Java, so there is nothing so strange that it opens not very fast. But still, you can open this exact MP3 file and it will open it without any questions. No, the questions are still asked. Unsupported or invalid media. Well, never mind that. I used to run this player recently. It is actually working. It shows MPG and AVI files with no problems. There are some games, of course, like standard known games like GNOME Mines, you know, like Minesweeper in Windows. Here it is. It's pretty the same thing. There's nothing special in it. You can use the middle button to check if there is a mine, make it clear that it's there, and you know, the standard Minesweeper. And of course some graphic applications like picture viewing and PostScript viewer for printing. Since there is a parallel port, this may be useful. And of course there are some system applications which could be useful, well, and so on. There's plenty you can do with this little machine. There is its own GNOME terminal, which is maybe common for Linux users and maybe BSD users. Its file manager is more colorful, more bright. Well, it's an eye candy, but you have to pay for it with your performance, of course. See, even a simple thing like a file manager is not loading very fast, unfortunately. Here we go. Here we are. This is our MP3 file. It's full of notes, right? Of course it is. You can travel with your directories using your mouse. Here's the kernel. You shouldn't be messing with it. Here is the volume control. It actually works. There's a keyboard layout manager, because in Solaris it's not that simple to switch layouts, but you English speaking people don't have to bother. The English layout works just fine. Well, I could have shown much more applications. I could install Firefox, Thunderbird and much more. But I think you can imagine how this will look on this machine. So I think this should be it. I hope you enjoyed this messy video. This is my first English hardware review, so I hope you won't just, you know. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. So now we should just turn this machine off. I don't see any built-in functionality for that, so I'll just open a terminal and type power off, enter. And here we go, switching back to the text console. Camera loses its focus, of course. And we're enjoying the silence. So this is the Sun Ultra One workstation. Hope you like it.